it was always moist with the tears of Lord Chaitanya's love. He kept it close to his heart for 3 years, continuously. And out of his love for his devotee, he gave that Shila and the Gunjamala to Radhanath Das Goswami. And Radhanath Das Goswami considered, in giving me the Govardhan Shila, he has given me eternal residence at Govardhan Hill. And by giving me the Gunjamala, he has given me the shelter of the love of Sri Radha. For Radhanath Das Goswami, there was nothing else that had any interest to him. He already was a billionaire. Young, beautiful. He didn't leave things out of frustration. He left everything behind because by associating with saints like Haridas Thakur, he tasted something so infinitely more meaningful and beautiful and satisfying in Krishna and his names, that these things had meant nothing for him. People work so hard for money, for prestige, for property. The whole world is under that spell. And in Kali Yuga, that's practically the all in all. But in the lives of these great Goswamis, we find a whole nother dimension and perspective of reality. They considered a single speck of dust in Vrindavan to be more valuable than all the wealth and riches of the universe. One time our Gurudev Srila Prabhupada was in Denver, Colorado, in a very beautiful park that the city obviously spent many millions and millions of dollars to make so beautiful, with lakes and flowers and gardens and bushes and trees and lawns. And Srila Prabhupada was walking through it with a few devotees. And he said, you see, people are working so very, very hard to maintain this place. And we don't do anything, we just come and enjoy it. But the enjoyment is not in owning something. Because with proprietorship comes so many anxieties. Yes? I'm a little Swami. I go to people's houses. Sometimes they let me stay somewhere on the floor in their home. Sometimes they give me more, but I usually just take the little floor. And I'm eating their food and I'm sleeping. And I'm just happy. But they're struggling like anything to maintain that place. And little Swamis and Brahmacharis, we just come and say Hari Bol, we do kirtan. we have kirtan there, we do some Hari Katha there. We touch their little babies' heads. And I really believe that we enjoy their houses probably 1,000,000 times more than they enjoy their houses. Because it's such... Vaisheshika Prabhu, when did you come? I was just waiting for the message that you... Oh, I'm going to end right now. I'm sorry I didn't see. So what is the wealth? Mahaprabhu Bhakta Ganer Vairagya Pradhan. In regard to Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that renunciation is the basic principle that sustains the lives of the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And seeing that renunciation gives Lord Chaitanya such satisfaction. But what is renunciation? One time a devotee asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I want to renounce everything. And Srila Prabhupada told him, nothing is yours, so you have nothing to renounce. That was a striking reply. And then Srila Prabhupada said, the only thing you have to renounce is the illusion that you have anything to renounce. Yukta Vairagya is what Rupa Goswami taught us. Sri Rupa Goswami was living under different trees every night, begging for some roti or some chickpeas. But he was in the highest ecstasies of the gopis' love for Krishna. But he taught this principle of Yukta Vairagya. Real renunciation is not just to give up things, but to give up the ego and to give up the selfish enjoying spirit and to use whatever best way we can serve Krishna. One time Srila Prabhupada was in New Dwarka in Los Angeles. He had a very nice room that the devotees made for him. Devotees worked so hard to put beautiful original art of Krishna's Leelas. It was simple but so nice. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting with one of his disciples. He said, do you remember I showed you my rooms at Radha Damodar temple? In those days it was just clay walls and clay floor. He said, I long to be back there. But for me to stay here in this beautiful room is renunciation. Because this is how I could best serve my Guru. This is how I could best reach people's hearts with Krishna's message. Srila Prabhupada put so much energy to build temple in Mayapur, to build temple in Bombay, and Krishna Balaram temple. One of his followers was one of the leaders of the construction. And in those days, a foreign person working with these construction companies in Uttar Pradesh was really difficult. At every stage they were trying to cheat. There was so much negotiating and bargaining, and then they would, after negotiating and bargaining and the trucks on the way, they would weigh it, and then they'd take it off and sell it to somebody else on the way, and then come and say, this is what you bought. And it was so much death threats and everything else. And this devotee said to Prabhupada, everyone in Vrindavan saying, Radhe, Radhe, I want to do that. The Goswamis, why so much anxiety? And Srila Prabhupada explained, whatever way we could best serve, that is the highest renunciation. Whether it means we're doing Dandavat Parikrama around Govardhan Hill, or whether it means we're flying in a jet plane to the to speak in the British Parliament. Whatever way Krishna wants us to serve, renunciation is to serve with all our heart. Nadanamna janamna sundarim kavitam va jagadishaka, without expecting anything for ourselves except the privilege to serve. And Govardhan is also named Haridas Varya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this gopi who spoke this verse is Srimati Radharani. If anyone knows who is a devotee, it's Srimati Radharani, who is the very reservoir and source of all devotion and all love forever. And she is saying that Giriraj Govardhan is Haridas Varya, the best of all the devotees, because he gives the greatest pleasure to Krishna. Although Govardhan is Krishna himself, Govardhan, like Lord Chaitanya, is taking the role of a devotee as well. And why is he the greatest devotee? Because he gives the greatest happiness to Krishna's devotees. Madbhakta puja vyadika. Krishna tells, one who worships me is not as dear to me as one who pleases my devotees. Govardhan is giving fresh grass that is fragrant and soft and nutritious and gives the best milk. Because the cows, when they eat the grass, it tastes so good, and it smells so good, and it's so soft, and it makes them so healthy. And most of all, the only reason the cows are eating the milk is eating the grass is to give milk to Krishna, and that grass fulfills the cow's desires by creating the best milk. The best way we could please a devotee is by facilitating them to please Krishna. And the best way we can facilitate devotees to please Krishna is to facilitate devotees to give pleasure to other devotees. This is the message here. And the rocks of Govardhan Hill, when the cows, the calves, the gopis, the gopas, Krishna, Balaram, those stones in the summer, they're cool. In the winter, they're warm. And whenever any of Krishna devotees step on them, they become very soft, like flower petals. And the waterfalls, the lakes, they're like nectar. Cool in the summer, warm in the winter. And they are so nectarine that when the cows, the calves, the gopas, the gopis, whoever drinks it, they roll in the dust in ecstasy and cry. It's so delicious. And what is that deliciousness? It doesn't just taste good to their tongues, but Govardhan, Haridas Varya's love is so much infused, like the tears of his ecstasy into that water, that when they're drinking it, they're becoming infused with Giriraj's love for Radha and Krishna. And by that association, even Krishna becomes intoxicated. And providing beautiful caves for Krishna and his devotees to relax. In this way, Srimati Radharani is saying that the greatest service we could render is to please the Lord's devotees. And Radharani, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna in the mood of Sri Radha. And he taught this principle. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayora Dasa Dasa Das Anudas. Highest aspiration, not to become God, not to become a powerful mystic, but to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, because there's nothing it gives greater happiness to Krishna than that. And Krishna tells in Gita, one who gives this message, one who gives the nectar of pure devotional service, bhakti, to the people of this world, to the devotees and to the people in general, and awakens their love for Krishna, there is no one more dear to than me. Lord Chaitanya said, I'm a fruit vendor, and I have so many of these fruits of love of God, I can't give them out by myself. I'm asking my devotees, please help me to give them out. And there's no one who is more dear to me than that. Tomorrow is the most holy day of Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. We're speaking about Giriraj Govardhan as Haridas Varya, who Sri Radharani is praising as the greatest devotee. What our beloved Guru Maharaj did. Such unconditional compassion, selfless service. He was living in the very heart of the place where Krishna is eternally performing his Ras Leela in Seva Kunj. And when he was just going on 70 years old, he left that place to travel around the world 11 times. So much trouble. And dealing with people like us, so much trouble. But he never gave up. That was love. That is the spirit of Haridas Varya. And today we are very honored that one of the very dear, most beloved, exemplary disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who has taken Srila Prabhupada's mission of compassion into his heart of hearts, is going to speak to us. One of my very dearest friends. He is historically and to the present day one of the greatest speakers of Krishna consciousness, one of the greatest distributors of Srila Prabhupada's transcendental books, inspiring and teaching hundreds, thousands of others in that spirit. His own personal sadhana is incredible. He lives with wife, little home, and yet every day he does Giriraj Puja, Shalagram Puja, Gornitai Puja, Prabhupada Puja for several hours. It's incredible. And then how he's inspiring hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And because he has been inspired. He has understood with gratitude the mercy that he has been given. And Srila Prabhupada told us, if you want to repay me what I have given you, just accept it and share it with others. The origin of the highest realm of this expression is here at Govardhan Hill. Mystical situation. And one of Prabhupada's dear godbrothers, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, came to see Prabhupada. And Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he said, Prabhupada, you're driving us crazy like this. And Prabhupada said to Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he said, see how much they love me. He was just churning their love for him, churning their devotion for him. Different people have different moods with different understandings, and Prabhupada accepted and loved both of them and was just churning that. But at the same time, it was one of his final lessons, the sacredness and importance of Govardhan Hill. Srila Prabhupada served Sri Giriraj by traveling around. He was doing parikrama of the planet, spreading the congregational chanting of the holy name. And then in his last days, in his heart of hearts, he performed the parikrama of Sri Giriraj.